Welcome back to my channel on this beautiful 9/27/2018. Is 8:46 a.m. and it's been a couple of if I'm not mistaken, it's been 2 weeks since my last video. My last video was, yeah, it's about to be going on 2 weeks. I'm glad to see the 4 people that were blocked finally figure out that they were blocked and unsubscribe to my channel. Once you're blocked, that means it doesn't matter whether you subscribe or you don't subscribe. You will not be able to see my content. Messages and comments are subject to approval in my channel. If I don't approve of your comment, or if you're acting like a troll and you're coming at me on a topic without no basis and no foundation, you will be blocked and your comment will be deleted. You see, you can comment, but they won't show. Other people won't see it unless they are approved by me. So you can comment all you want, and you can call me whatever you want. It doesn't bother me, but your comment will not be approved and you will be blocked. Once you're blocked, that's it. So exercise caution when you're coming at people or commenting and you have no basis and you are running a channel that has no information. I have a problem with people that want to come to my channel and say, oh, but you're wrong, but you're wrong. And then when you go over their channel, they have no content, no playlist, or the information that they have, it's not productive. The information that they have has no content or no backup as to what they are talking about. And those are the ones that present a problem for those that are seeking truth, because those are the trolls of YouTube. Not to mention the AI that are standing by to argue with themselves, as we've seen in the past. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about the shining of the world versus the shining of a Christian, and the difference. Okay? Excuse me. I am no longer sugarcoating things. I'm speaking to them the way they are. If you want to listen, you can listen. This is an individual thing. Salvation is an individual thing. And church is not going to save you. Your pastor's not going to save you. Your husband's not going to save you. Your children are not going to save you. And when it's time for you to be judged, you're going to be judged on the good deeds and the bad deeds that you have done. Make sure that your good deeds outdo your bad. Bottom line, no more to say about that. I finally got my hands, okay, on a fake piece of jewelry, which I own the original. I'm going to use that as a comparison. And I also have a picture that I'm going to use as a comparison on the following after I use the pieces of jewelry as a comparison. I've been going through a lot, okay? And not only am I going through a lot, but there has been a lot of things going on that are very, very strange in nature. And whenever you present that to people, people look at you like, huh? So there's a lot of strange things that are happening to different people in different stages on different levels. The real Christians are being persecuted. We're just not seeing the bloodbath. But we are being oppressed. They are condemning us. Not only are they condemning us, they are using false testimony and bearing false witness to people. And it's happening. It's happening a lot. Whether they're accusing you of being whatever, or they're accusing you of abusing your children, or your spouse is accusing you of cheating, those are demons. Those are demons manifesting, especially if the allegations are not true. So I have right here 2 pieces of jewelry, and they're both exactly the same. Okay, this is a Pandora. One is fake and the other one is real. They both got a stone. We've heard before that our eyes are the windows to our soul. When differentiating in what's real and what's fake, the stone tells the difference, and there's no mistake. You cannot confuse a diamond with a cubic zirconia, although they look the same. It's the closest thing to a diamond, but yet when you look at them under a microscope, you can see the difference. Well, in this case, we don't need to look into a microscope, because it's perfectly clear that we got 2 different stones here. One is very shiny and the other one is not. One is real, one is fake. So this is the comparison of the world. We got the real people standing for God and doing what they think is right, and standing up for evil and separating themselves from evil. But we got those that are lifting false witness, and they are shining. You look at them and they spotless. They don't have a care in the world. You speak to them about the things of God and they laugh at you. They're so cheerful in the morning. But these are the people that are bearing false witness to the real children of Jesus Christ. And this is the reality that's going on. And I'm using this comparison because I can't use anything else. My job is not to pinpoint at figures. You have your 7 deadly sins that are called deadly for a reason. And you have the sins of the flesh and the personal sins that every human being is going to struggle with. You see, we are not perfect. And we were not made at perfection. This flesh that we bear is very, very, very sinful. And it has to be contained. No different than containing a virus. No different than containing a disease. And this is the reality that we are living in. This is a comparison of what hell and the separation from God. If you're still in sin, if you're still in adultery, if you still committing homicides, if you bearing false witness, if you're an adulteress, there's a difference between an adulteress and fornication. If you don't know the difference, look it up. Okay? If you are involved in homosexuality, if you are involved in lascivious acts, if you are involved in racketeering, if you are involved in lying to people, if you are involved in accusing people falsely to make yourself look bad, if you are persecuting someone because you don't like them, then this is where you're going to end up. You're going to end up in hell. And hell is a very real place. The other side is reserved for those that die. Okay? and they die in Christ, they will go to Abraham's bosom. Now, these are two compartments in hell. And the Bible is very clear that hell will give up its dead. And it will be destroyed once these people have been judged and found not to be worthy of the kingdom of heaven. You can accept it, or you can put it back in the wall and decorate your house. But make no mistake, that's what it is. You see, the rich man and Lazarus is not a parable. Whenever the Bible mentions somebody by name, it's not a parable. It's to be taken literally. And a lot of us are not reading the Bible, nor do we have any foundation. We don't even know a little bit of it. We're walking in the world shining. We're walking in the world as fake witnesses because we do not have the truth in us. This is where the ring comes in and the shiny stone. You see, this is fake. This is a fake Pandora ring. And you can tell by the stone. It's shiny. It's clear. The real Pandora doesn't shine because it's a mother pearl. It's a real mother pearl. This is not a real mother pearl. This is a crystal. This is a counterfeit of the real. And this is what I see. And this is what I'm being confronted with on a daily basis for about 2 weeks straight. This is what a lot of Christians look like. This represents the church. You're all fake. You know why? Because you cast division. You see, none of us are better than none of us. We got people that are more righteous than others. And we got people that think before they do something. And we have those that act without no thinking. Nobody is perfect here. Myself included in this mess. Because this is a mess that needs to be sorted. Either you are the real thing or you're the fake thing. But the real thing doesn't discriminate. The real Christians don't discriminate. The real Christians will pray for you, especially if you're in a false doctrination such as Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Catholics. If you're running around with the Pentecostal church, your soul is in danger of ending up here. You want to contemplate Abraham's bosom, then you need to separate yourself. And you need to live for God. And you need to be ready to be persecuted and be ashamed. And for people to bear with false witness against you. For people to come against you. For people to try to take what you owe, what God has given you. We're not battering against flesh and blood. Ephesians 6:12. We are not battling against flesh and blood. We are battling against evil, against darkness, against kings and queens of high realm on the unseen spiritual world of demons. This world is run by non-human entities. Just as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. The Bible clearly tells us many are the called, but few are the chosen. The 144,000 are not men and women that have kept themselves clean. No, the 144,000 are those that are left here, that are going to wake up and are going to recognize who they are. And they're going to stand for Jesus Christ. And they're going to fight against evil forces as we are doing it right now. It's a battle every single day. But if you're bearing false witness, if you're involved in adultery, if you're involved in fornication, if you're involved in lascivious acts, if you're involved in lust, if you're involved in anything and everything that appalls God, then you can count on your reward being set forward. And this will be your home after you're gone from this world. There is no in between. There is no in between. The in between is the tree. Okay? You either going to have branches that are dry with no fruit, bearing no fruit, or you're going to have branches that are capable of bearing fruit. That's all up to you. Solely up to the individual what path you chose. Choose your path today and choose it wisely. Be wise as serpents and humble as a dove, because this is very real. The Bible tells us that there's a prison called the lake of fire and brimstones, where the thirst cannot be quenched, where the fire burns forever and ever. This is the God of this world. If you're following this, you can count on your reward being set forward. This is where you're gonna go. Contemplate it. Look, take a look at it. Because there's still a chance. There's still a chance that you can repent. There's still a chance to humble yourself against God and ask God to have mercy. Ask God to guide you. Ask Him to have mercy on you. Ask Him to show you the path of righteousness and to help you arm yourself with the armor of God so you can fight against this darkness. A lot of people are losing their soul because of this. Money. This is the root of all evil. This is where evil comes from. And this bears nothing but evil. This does not bear righteousness. People are willing to kill for this. People are willing to prostitute themselves for this. People are willing to sell drugs for this. People are willing to persecute other people for this. And you think that by you giving this to your churches, you're saved. I'm doing something for God. I give 20%, 30% of my money. When in reality, this is not the works that God is looking for. And we can see that with Cain and Abel. They bought fruits and works from what they did. Cain worked the land and Abel was a shepherd. Cain bought the worst of its fruits, the leftovers, and he kept the goods for himself. Instead of bringing the goods, the first fruits to God, he bought him the leftovers. That's why his sacrifice wasn't accepted. Not only that, the seed of evil and wickedness was running through his veins. In turns, Abel bought the best of his flocks, the most nurture, the most tender. He bought God the best that he had, and he left the scattered, and whatever wasn't good enough, he left it for himself. But he bought God the good fruit. That's why his sacrifice was burned. This is a comparison of Cain and Abel. This is also the comparison of the rich man and Lazarus. And this is also the comparison of us today. Where do you stand? You need to ask yourself. Where do you stand? Where do you think that you're going to go when you die? Do you think you're going to go to Abraham's bosom? Or you think you're going to go straight to the pits of hell, where there's nothing but repetition, where there's nothing but chaos, destruction, suffering, where your cries won't be heard, where you will burn for all eternity? Can you actually bargain with eternity? Ask yourselves that. Can you bargain with eternity? Can you bargain with everlasting life? Can you bargain with that? Because a lot of you are bargaining with your lives right now. Because a lot of you are chasing a dragon. As long as you're chasing this and you're not conformed with what God has put in your hands and you overlooking what God has given you, because we all got a gift from God. The only people that do not have a gift from God are the reptilian, robotoids, AIs, clones, because those are soulless beings. We're talking about human beings, real human beings with a conscience. We're talking about people that feel remorse when they do something wrong. When they speak to somebody in the wrong way, they feel remorse. They have to go to that person and say, please forgive me because I spoke to you in the wrong way. They're not ashamed to ask for forgiveness from other people. They're not ashamed to rectify what they have done wrong. They're not ashamed to say, I'm sorry. This was wrong in my part. And they're not chasing this. They're living conform as to the Spirit of God, trusting in God every day, and allowing God to manifest His power. God knows what we need. He knows that we need water to survive. He knows we need food to sustain our bodies. Take a look at the wilderness. Who provides for the animals in the wilderness? Who? Who provides for the birds? Who? Ask yourselves. You need to ask yourselves that. Who provides for the birds and the creatures in the wilderness that we don't see? They are made by God. He does. He sustains them. What more will He do for us that we are His children? A lot of you still don't believe. And I'm sorry to tell you. And I'm going to say it how it is. My videos from today on are not going to be liked unless you're walking in the path of righteousness. Because I'm calling sin out. And that's my job. My job is to stand against sin. To expose the wickedness that's being done in the darkness. That's what we've called for. We are witnesses to Jesus Christ. We are a witness to the Word of God that is true. That is righteousness. This is our spiritual food. I may not know every single word in this book, but I will guarantee you one thing. I know enough to defend myself against the evil and wickedness of Satan, because he's a destroyed and a defeated being. There's nothing righteous about this demonic entity. Nothing. Nothing that he does is righteous. And everything that he does is falling apart right in front of his face. That's why he has plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. He has all those plans. What plan do you have? Because God only has one plan. And that's why He gave us His own beloved Son. His unique beloved Son, so that we may have eternal life through Him. He came to undo the works of Satan. He came to expose them. He came to break the chains that holds man captive. And we can do this. But we have to have a foundation. Our faith has to convict us. If your faith does not convict you, You're a fake light. You're fake. You're nothing different than a fake piece of jewelry mimicking the original. And a lot of you just love to be fake because this is your God. As long as you have this doesn't matter. This can be thrown away because this is your God. And that's the reality of where we live in today. But think about this. Think about this. Money doesn't give you happiness. Money doesn't give you love. Money can buy you happiness. Money cannot buy you love. Money cannot buy the spiritual world because this does not belong in the spiritual world. The spiritual world doesn't revolve around money. The spiritual world revolves around righteousness. You're either wicked or righteous. There's no in between, once again. We have one tree standing in the middle of men, and that's Jesus Christ. And there are two branches, ones that bear fruit and ones that are dry and bear no fruit. Which one are you? Where are you standing? Pick a side and stick to it. Your choice. Your call. God wants us to accept. He wants us to recognize the path that's being presented in front of us versus the path that He actually made for us. Satan came to destroy and to deceive. He did not come to bear good fruits. He came to bear false witnesses against Jesus Christ. And it cannot be no more clear with the things that the Pope is doing. I will say this once again. Your Catholic religion will be your one world religion running the world in the end times. Right now, the rest of the religions are gathering the flocks to go straight into the slaughterhouse without them even knowing it. Because you see, there is a great deception coming. And a lot of the people in the churches are going to be caught up in this madness. The only people that will not be caught up into this madness are those that are following the word, those that know the things that are coming and are waiting for the signs so that we can go and hide. Because that's what God demands of us. He's going to sustain us. And we're going to need to separate ourselves and hide and be strong and put our faith to test. Because it is clear that this is destroying the world. Not only is this destroying the world, but these two things are the damnation of the world. See, technology is nothing good. Technology wasn't made for us. Technology was a product of the Army, the Navy. They came up with this technology to spy in other countries. But they figured out that they were the only ones with this technology. So it would be easier for other countries to pinpoint who the enemy is. So they opened the internet to everybody, so that the AIs can hide among real people and cause destruction, chaos, cause a lot of people to commit suicide, because that's a demon. Those are demons of destruction. They overpower your mind up to the point that you see no other way out because they blind you. And you actually think that you're doing God an injustice by persecuting the children of God. And you really think that you're doing any justice every time that one of the children of God gets killed. Ironic. It's ironic. Nevertheless, it's truly ironic that dead ass people think that the more you have, the more you're going to be in touch with God. I have everything. I don't need nothing. I have a closet full of food. I have enough food for 10 years. I'd rather have food for one day and save my soul. Like, seriously. We're heading down a destructive path. And unless you recognize the scriptures and where you're standing, you're not going nowhere. You see, excuses will not be used in heaven, nor will there be an excuse. Because if you're watching these videos, you're being warned since day one. I have enough information in my channel, and I take my work very serious. I don't take the world serious. I really don't. Because the world is fake. The world is a fake light that shines, but it's fake. It doesn't hold anything beneath it. There's no truth in this light. None whatsoever. But a lot of you can't understand that because you have no concept of scriptures. Because you do not know God. Because you don't fear Him. The beginning of wisdom is fear of God. When you have fear of God, you can no longer bring yourself to be a prostitute. You can no longer sell your body. You can no longer do evil. You cannot bear false witness against someone. When you speak the truth at whatever cost. And you recognize what's real from what's fake. Real. Fake. And they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. They look exactly the same. But one is fake and one is real. And you can tell by the stones. There's no other way to tell. The stones. The stones. Just like the windows of the eye. I bought this just to make this video. I am not a fan of imitations. I like the real thing. My jewelry consists of sterling silver, 100%, and stainless steel. I do not like gold. If they steal this, they're not stealing anything. They can have it. But I am not a fan of imitations, nor counterfeits. Not in my nature to seek counterfeit stuff. We live in a world where materialism dictates who you are. And we live in a world of fantasy, where the shininess that you have and the expensive clothes defines a person. And I am sadly going to tell you that you are sadly mistaken. Expensive clothes, name brand clothes, only fools are the ones that go after that, because not even the rich. You see, you still do not understand that name brands were made for the sheeples. Real people, the real rich people, don't wear none of that crap. Take a look at the Google guy, that reptilian garbage, Mark Zuckerberg. He's a millionaire. That reptilian piece of shit is a millionaire. Look at how he dresses. Look at Trump with the same tie and the same exact suit all the time. Look at your other presidents. The same suit. What changes? A tie? Because the suit sure don't change. It's the same exact color. It's either dark blue or black, because that's how it looks. This is reality. This is the reality. I heard Michael Jordan, and I also heard Michael Kors say that their items, whatever they make, they don't appreciate black people wearing them, because we're not made for black people. But who are the people that buy Jordans? Black people. Who are the people that buy Michael Kors? Black people. I barely seen a white person with anything from Michael Jordan or from anything from Michael Kors. These people come out with their supplies. Pandora's no different. Because before I knew anything about Pandora, I already knew about Michael Kors, and I never liked his name brand. I didn't like his clothes. I didn't like his watches. I don't like anything that has a logo on it. I don't like it. It doesn't sit good with me. I try to wear plain clothes. I don't wear nothing logo. I'm not a newspaper, nor am I getting paid to be advertising. But a lot of you just love to advertise to devils and demons and eat sacrifice stuff. And I'm going to go even further. The anniversary of Maria was on the 20th of September. I didn't make a video. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because 9/11, every year, thus was called an anniversary. But in reality, to you and me, it's an anniversary. But in the eyes of God, it's an abomination, because the dead is nothing to worship. It's dead. It's gone. It ceased to exist. You don't see me worshiping my dad. Nor do you see me making videos every year of his anniversary. One thing is to remember a person, and another thing is to worship it. And a lot of you are just worshiping devils and demons, and doctrines of demons. Every time that you go to a concert, every time that you go to an anniversary, every time that you eat anything that's sacrificed to idols, such as what they do in anniversaries. What do they do in anniversary? They sell food. They want to give out free coffee, such as here. Every school on the 20th of September will have an activity, and they were all wearing white. White shirt. We represent the dead of Maria. No, you don't. You represent the demonic system that's running this world. You don't represent no dead of Maria. Those are considered to be not of God. By their works, you should know them. For goodness sakes, there was a nun in the middle of the street in front of a Catholic church getting you to buy coffee in the morning. are you serious? I passed by and I looked at them and I said, my goodness, this is so wrong. This cannot be right. Because I've never seen this before. But these are rituals. These are rituals that you are doing every single year for your master, Satan. Because that's who you're doing it with. Because none of these rituals came from God. God is not a God of destruction, nor is he a God of chaos. He is a God of order. And order comes with being educated. Separating yourself from the wickedness of this world. What controls you? If you cannot live without this, you're doomed. And if you cannot live without this, you're also doomed. And if you're a fake light in this world, you're doomed as well. If you're still entertaining idolatry and you still bearing crosses when Jesus Christ is not dead and there's no need to look up to the cross, you're heading straight to the piles of hell. And there's no salvation for you. And no purgatory is going to get you out. There's no prayer that's going to get you out from where you're going. That's the reality. Whether you want to accept it or whether you don't want to accept it. God is a God of order. And things go according to his will. And who are you? Who am I to stand in the will of God? Best to recognize where you're heading. If you're a man that's married and you're cheating on your wife, it doesn't matter what a good person you are, how much you give. It doesn't matter how good of a husband you are. If you're being unfaithful to your wife and you're deceiving the people around you, you're going straight to the piles of hell. There's no other way. That's the sad reality about living a sinful life. There are sins that are going to get you straight to hell. There are sins that have a ticket that is going to take you straight to hell. And there are those sins that you have to work with. And you have to ask God for strength and understanding to be able to overcome them. None of us are going to die sinless and without sin. But a lot of us can overcome sin through faith and believing and standing for what's right and calling out wrong when it's wrong. You see, you cannot make a wrong right. You cannot make juice into coffee. This is juice. This is guava juice mixed with pineapple. It has its flavor. It's already made. You didn't make it, but you can make coffee. And coffee, you have to make it right in order to taste right. Because if you put too much milk, you're going to get really, really light coffee and you're not going to taste the coffee. And then if you put too little milk, the coffee is going to be too dark and it's going to be a little bit better. So you have to make it just right. The same thing goes for the scriptures. You don't have to know this whole book, but you have to know enough to maintain yourself afloat and to know the things that are coming up on this world. There's no other way. There's no in between here. The world is going down a spiral. And we're bargaining with eternity. And we cannot bargain with eternity. You have to ask God to guide you. You have to ask God to help you. You have to ask God for his wisdom, his strength. And if any man accuses you, what a better lawyer than Jesus Christ? He's our Redeemer. He's the only door. He holds salvation. Through him, he's the only one. There is no other way. Let every man be a liar and Jesus Christ be the truth. That's what I say. And I refuse to say anything different. I'm going through a lot right now. But I'm going to hold on to this. Not this. And definitely not this. And most definitely not the fake light of this world. Because this light is going to cease to exist very, very soon. Things are going to get a lot worse, people. Natural catastrophes are going to escalate and things are going to get a lot worse. Where you're standing today is going to make the difference between damnation and salvation. Bottom line, there's no in between here. You're either preparing yourself to go to Abraham's bosom, if you're not the ones left to see, or you're preparing your soul to be condemned in the lake of fire of repetition for all eternity. This is repetition. I've listened to over 100 videos about hell experiences. I watched too many. And one thing that all of them have in common, and even in movies, I've even seen it in movies, one thing that all those people speaking, and one thing I've noticed in the movies, is that there's a lot of repetition. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and you're actually in a spiral. You cannot get off of it. That's what hell is. It's a repetition because your master has no compassion for you. You're serving a God with no hope. A God that knows exactly where he's going. And a God that fools you and tricks you into thinking the material things, and the more material things you have is what's going to save you. The better you live here, the better you're going to live in heaven when it's a false reality. Take a look at the story of the rich man and Lazarus. Perfect example. Take a look at the story of Job. Another perfect example of the fidelity that one can have towards God and how the devil can take it all away and leave you with nothing. But we were born naked. So if Satan takes everything that I have and leaves me in the street with nothing, I still have God. I am not in despair, because God is going to provide a way for me to obtain and acquire the things that I need to survive. This is why preparing is a necessity. Too much preparing is a sin. Because when you are too much prepared, you actually think you're above from everybody. And you think you're better than everybody. And that's a reality that cannot be no more further from the truth. Good for you if you prepare for 10 years. I hope you survive. But in the process, I pray that you meet God and that you have an encounter with Jesus Christ. Your works are useless if you don't have a foundation in this. I've been preaching this for a long time. And I'm going to make one thing clear. I am not a preacher. I am not a pastor. I am not an evangelic. I don't go to church. My wisdom comes solely from God. You want to know why? Because I stand alone. The only person that's guiding me is God and His Spirit. That's it. I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have anybody I barely can relate to. And those that I relate to, they have their own issues that they need to deal with. So at the end of the day, the only person you can actually trust is Jesus Christ. Because everybody's dealing with something. I wish that I had somebody that I can sit down and talk about the Bible. I wish that I had somebody that I can sit down and discuss how I feel about this world. And someone to connect spiritually with. That's not the case. A lot of us are standing alone. And our only foundation is solely in Jesus Christ. Because we have nobody to guide us in this world. Because we are not of this world. And we understand that we're dealing with demonic people. Possessed people. People that are influenced into a demonic mentality. And the end game is for our soul. Because Satan doesn't want your riches. He wants your soul. He wants your soul. Your soul is an eternal being. And where he's going, he needs company. He needs company. The biggest religion in this world is Catholicism. The Catholic Church. That's the biggest religion in this world. Not even Muslims can compare to how big the Catholic religion has roots. Because every single religion comes from her. She's the mother of all religions. And no religion can persevere without her blessings. That's the reality. God has been taken out of the equation. It started out as that, especially with the Pentecostal church, until they got involved with the theory and the doctrination of the rapture. Pentecostal church was doing fine until it adopted a demonic agenda, such as the rapture. The Pentecostal church has more sins in the pulpit, and it's no different than her mother, the Catholic Church. Not only that, I cannot find one church that's separated from state. They all bow down to the Pope. They all have some type of invertment with the Catholic Church, and they receive their doctrinations from them. You can speak about this, but you cannot speak about this. And the moment that you get out of place, we're going to shut you down. And you will not receive any intenses from us. Where's the real church? The real church is the one that's standing within yourself. Because there is no real church anymore. They all sold out for the gospel of prosperity. Take a look at your leaders. Take a look at the church leaders. Have you seen their houses? Have you seen how lavish they live out of your expenses? I don't think a lot of you have really taken into consideration how well your church leaders live out of your expense. Some of them don't even work. They live out of your money. Comes to show this is the root of all evil. Because the more they have, the more they want. But yet, I didn't see one church during Maria. One church during Maria helping out, giving out food. I didn't see one. All those people were they were hiding. During the time of Maria, not even one single church was open. Comes to show your gods cannot see nor they can hear. They made out of stone, wood, useless. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up to the reality and the madness of this world. And it's time to make a choice. It's time to learn and take the Bible literally and serious and interpret it for what it is. The story of the rich man and Lazarus is not a parable. And you would know that because the name Lazarus is being mentioned as compared to the other parables that Jesus Christ said or stated. It's a literal meaning to it. It's to be taken literal. This is what it is. Or do you really think that God is going to allow his righteousness kids to be tormented in a lake of fire? Those that have accepted him and lived righteously and stood for righteousness and stood for evil and decided not to side with that, do you really think that God's going to allow them to go to hell? Really? Sadly, you're mistaken. And you have no base on what God's character is, nor have you met him. Because if you did, you will know that that's erroneous and it's false. Because that's what Satan wants us to believe. That God is unjust, that he's doing all this, when he's really not. Because the king and the ruler of this world is him. Him and his minions. And all the people he has created, all the fake people that he has created and placed them among us, that we can't even tell the real from the fake anymore. Such as I already showed with the two rings that look exactly the same, but one's real and one's fake. One's made out of metal and a piece of glass, and the other one is made with a hardened material and is stainless steel. I'm telling you, my friends, it's time to wake up. Things are going to get a lot worse. The escalation of evil from now on is going to be horrific. And you need to know what to do when these things start manifesting themselves. Make your choice today who you're willing to serve and stand by him. Build your foundation. Solidify it. And be prepared to suffer. There is no happiness. And there will be no happiness in this world, but the one that you make through the knowledge of God. Because there's nothing to smile about. There's nothing to be happy about. People are losing their souls by the millions. And people are selling out by the millions. And it's time to recognize where we're standing. Until next time in another video, take care, my friends. God bless you. I hope you can understand the severity of this message. And I hope that you are found worthy of entering the kingdom of heaven, as I hope myself that I am found worthy of entering the kingdom of heaven. The only thing that we can do is stand firm. There is nothing else to do. Separate yourselves from this madness and claim and clinch yourself to Jesus Christ. There's no one else. There will be no one else. He's the only door of salvation. And he came to undo the devil's work and to expose them. And we are bearing witness to what Jesus Christ spoke about. And if you don't see it that way, it's too sad and it's too bad that you're blinded by the things of the world, that you cannot see your spiritual condition and rectify it while you still have a chance. There's nothing after death. Nothing but judgment and eternal salvation. For some, eternal damnation for others. There's only two paths in life. You're either going to wake up for eternal damnation or you're going to wake up for eternal life. There's no in between, my friends. There is no in between, and there will be no in between. Until next time with another video. God bless you all.